So last month was the GameDev.Js Jam, where I had to make one of those simple games that run in the browser. And I decided that after working on my horror game for more than 3 months straight, it was time to mix things up. Also, I was free during those 2 weeks, so yeah, everything lined up. But even before the jam started, I already decided that I was gonna do a 2-player game, just because I thought it would be fun. The theme of the jam was power. Now this could be interpreted in a lot of different ways. It can be a game about managing electricity, or a powerful superhero that is trying to save the world, or even political power. But my ideas were different. Here's what I had in mind. My first thought was to make a game about 2 robots fighting each other, and their health is also their power levels. I couldn't find any free art online that was good enough, so scratch that. Then I thought about making a game where both players had to grab a blue and red cable from a car battery and drag it to the other car battery to charge it up. This seemed like a cool idea, but I don't know how to make the cable physics work in Unity, and I also thought that it would be hard to design interesting levels based around this idea. No, what I ended up doing was a 2-player fighting game with simple shapes, where random power-ups could spawn around the map to help you kill the other player. So with this idea in mind, I started working on the basic movement, which wasn't so simple this time around. I needed to make sure that the first player moves with the WASD keys and the second player with the arrow keys. Then I had to make a decision. How would the players fight each other? I wanted the controls to be super simple, so I initially thought about just using the movement keys and the player could just, I don't know, collide with each other, I guess? But no, this wasn't fun enough. So I also added an attack button, F for player 1 and L for player 2, and if you press it, the player dashes forward and also deals damage if he collides with the other player. Anyways, now we need to decide the graphics of the game. Like I said, for this I used simple shapes and colors. I didn't want to spend a lot of time on the art. I also found this free asset online that had a cool falling animation. I ended up using that on the players. And now that level 1 is officially done, let's start working on the health and point system. Nothing really that interesting happened. I managed to do everything right and yeah, no issues here. Okay, there was this one bug, but we don't talk about that. Then, to spice up the game's feel, I also added a bit of camera shake when one of the players takes damage. It's very subtle, so we almost don't even notice it. Now we need to make a menu that shows up before each run of the game. For now, it's just going to be as simple as this. But all this empty space is gonna be filled with something very important later. Around this time, I did a quick playtest with my brother. Now that's what I'm talking about. Oh wow, that was not supposed to happen. Am I controlling both players at the same time? Why is this? I also made a point system. When a player wins a round, a point gets added to his counter. I don't have anything else to say here. So then I forgot to record for a while, but here's what I was doing. I added these bolt collectibles that both players can grab. And this is another thing that I haven't told you yet about my game. These collectibles are very important, because before each round starts, you can spend them in the shop to buy upgrades for your character. So if you collect more, you'll be able to buy better upgrades. I spent like 4 hours screaming with ChatGPT. I just wanted him to do a simple shop system, but he was getting so confused, and the code just started to become a mess. I ended up changing it all myself and simplifying things, and it actually worked. Cool, right? But then I spent another 3 hours doing the upgrades themselves and adding them to the shop. The first upgrade makes you move 50% faster. The second one is a magnet that helps you collect items. And the third one just makes you start with a bit more health. And this was just 2 days before the deadline, and I still only had 1 map in the game, the very first one. So I was definitely starting to worry. Am I gonna be able to finish everything? I don't know, we'll soon find out. The only thing left for me to add was a power-up spawner that could spawn random power-ups around the map to help you kill the other player. This script can spawn 6 game objects: a bolt, an item that recovers a bit of your health, a star that makes you invincible and move faster for a couple of seconds, a pole that spins around you and deals damage to the other player, and a circle of bullets that are shot outwards when collected and also deals damage. The pole was the one that had the most bugs, but they all ended up working properly, I think. Now we can finally focus on making the other maps. I'm so glad that I used simple graphics for this game, because it was super easy to make more levels. I guess it took me around 30 minutes to make each one, which is definitely fast. At the end, the game had 5 maps. I'll show them here so you can have a better idea. So after all of this, I technically still had a bit under 24 hours to finish the game. But unfortunately, I needed to sleep, and I also had school on the final day. So whatever I wanted to do, I needed to do it that night. And that's exactly what I did. I almost pulled an all-nighter while I was adding all of the sound effects and music to the game, and also making sure that everything was working. I had some problems with the volume of the sound effects, but I managed to fix all of it. On the final day when I got home, I did a quick playtest with my brother, fixed the bug and prepared the game for release. Now do you think that A, I made sure that the game was perfect before publishing the final build, or B, I ran out of time, published the game 6 minutes before the deadline and it had one major bug? The answer is they're both wrong. My game had 3 major bugs and I only noticed it after the submission time was over. I am an idiot. Apparently, the title screen was black for some reason, the death animation was way too long, and the dumbest thing of all was that I forgot to set the correct prices for the items before exporting the game, which means that everything costed just 1 bolt. Anyways, that was super stressful, but I did it. I finished everything I wanted, and that's what really matters. At the time of recording, the results of the jam aren't out yet, but I'll show them here so you can see for yourself if I did good or not. So yeah, go try the game if you have any friends. I actually played it with my brothers and it was surprisingly fun. Trust me, you can have some good laughs with this one. Thank you so much for watching my video. Oh, and I almost forgot, this video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, a fantasy RPG. Nah, I'm just kidding. I have like 90 subs. Gosh, I really need to make more videos.